Good morning, everyone. My name is Laura Stranks and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Brisbane, Queensland, Australia. Thanks for joining me today. I'm going to show you how to make this 6x6 storage box. It fits your 6x6 papers in here. Quite simple to do. I've got about a dozen of them on my shelf in my craft room that I stack all my... You can have one design of paper in each, or you can put dividers. I've got some dividers here that I can quickly show you how to make as well. I've done them quite simple. It's just a piece of cardstock with the label attached to the top. And if for some reason you don't have that paper in it anymore and you want to put something else in there, I just peel off the little label here and put another one over the top. So that's quite reusable as well. And it sits up like so in your on your shelf. You can also put a little tag. I'll just get the tag, one like this, that you can stack over the front of your box. So if they're facing you this way, you've got your little tag clipped over the front of it, and that's removable as well. So I'll give you the measurements for all of that. Just to mention a couple of things, I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, as I mentioned before. I live in Brisbane, Queensland, Australia. I have a Facebook page called Cards by Laura. All my cards that I do at my workshops and classes and any little cards on the side, I post them in here for everyone to see. I do sell my cards at markets around just in my local area here. I've also got a Facebook group called Laura's Craft Room Tips and Tutorials. There's a lot of people in, or members in there at the moment. If you wish to join this group, just make sure when you request to join that you answer the 2 questions that are there. If you don't see the questions, go on to a different device and you will find them. One is why you wanted to join the group. It's pretty simple. You're a crafter, or you want to see some of my tips and tutorials. And the other question is that you abide by the rules that I've got there. Pretty simple rules. No hate or harassing posts in there, and that you're willing to share, and you're I've lost the words now. Nothing that you're going to promote your business or someone else's business in my group. Excuse me. And the YouTube channel you're watching today is called Creative Gems. So if you haven't already subscribed, love you to join me on that one. And there's also a little bell that will come up that you can hit the bell and you will be notified when my videos go up. I do record my videos, so you would be watching a recording now. I think this recording will go up early October, which I've got a retreat coming up in a week or so's time, so we'll mention all that later. We'll get on to the box right now, and as usual I've prepped everything ahead of time. I'm going to do another blue one, but it's in a different paper to this one. This is a retired paper, so but I can still use a blue one in a different pattern for my shelf. The measurements for this, and I'll go through the pieces with you. I've already pre-cut, and I've also already done one that's cut out, so it'll save a bit of time, but I can still show you how to cut it. So your base pieces, and I'm doing Night of Navy again. You'll need 2 of these that measure the same size. They measure 8 3/4 by 8 1/4. I've put in my tutorial and PDF, I've also put the centimetre measurements in here for you. So you'll see those. A lot of people ask, do I do it in centimetres? Most of the time, I do it in inches, so you can use either for this one. Then my mat sizes, it's just a straight cardstock. I've chosen this one here is what have I got Yes, I've got boho blue. This one here, I think I cut it so that there was no mat, but on the next one I'm going to do a mat. So your mat size is a 6 1/8 by 6 1/8, and we're going to cut those on an angle. And then the front mats are 3 3/8 by 1 7/8. You'll need 2 of those, one of this one, that's the front mat there, and the back mat is 6 1/8 by 1 7/8. That's this one up here. My DSP, which they're the mats there in the blue. The DSP, this is out of the Countryside Inn pack, DSP pack. It's 12 by 12 pack. The side ones, there's 2 of those. They're 6 by 6, and then the front is 3 1/4 by 1 3/4, and the DSP at the back is 6 inches by 1 3/4. And then the dividers, they're a bit different again. I haven't made a special divider, but I'll show you how they work anyway. It measures 6 3/4 by 4 inches. And then you need a tag punch for the top. Something I was going to say then and I've forgotten, but I'll remember in a minute. So we'll get started. Now I have scored these, but then I've gone ahead and cut another set, so you'll know exactly where to cut. My measurements are here. I've got both pieces of the base, and they're scored exactly the same as well. With the 8 1/4 side, I'll get my scoring tool out. With the 8 1/4 side, what I was going to say before, you don't need to copy any of those measurements down. They will be in the description of the video, and also they will be in my tips and tutorials page in the files section there. All my PDFs go in there. So we'll get back to this. With the 8 1/4 side at the top, which is this one here, 8 1/4, scoring at 2 inches. So it'll be, this is the one I've done here. No, we're over this way, sorry. So we're going to score down at 2 inches there, which I've already done. And the same on this one with the 8 1/4 side at the top, and score down at 2 inches on one side. Then you're going to rotate it 90 degrees clockwise, and you're going to score it at 1/2 inch, which is there, 1/2 inch down, and then at 2 1/2, which is over here, 2 1/2. Now the second one on this one, if you have it that way, I flipped it over first and then turned it, so you've got still got the 8 3/4 side at the top, and you're going to score at 1/2 inch, and then your 2 1/2. The reason you flip it over, because you want it mirror image to the other one. So we'll go back to that and I'll show you. So it was this way, and that was my score at 2 inches. Then I'm going to flip it that way and turn it clockwise that way, and then you're going to do 1/2 inch and 2 1/2. So that way it's mirror image to the other one. That's those two. Where am I at? That's all the scoring. Now you need a pencil and a ruler. I'm a little bit all over the place here, but we'll work it out. At the 5 1/2 inch mark. Now this is with the 8 1/4 side at the top, and your 1/2 inch strip, which is down the bottom here. The 1/2 inch panel tab is at the bottom, and your 8 1/4 inch at the top. And then your 2 inch section where you scored will be on your left side. So you're going to put your left edge on 5 1/2 inches and put a little pencil mark. Where do I see where I am? 5 1/2, and just mark a little pencil mark there at 5 1/2. Then you're going to get your ruler, get my ruler out, and you're going to just put a pencil mark from that little pencil notch that you put there down to this 2.5 inch score line, which is the second score line up. You've got your 1/2 inch, I'm probably off the camera there. You've got the 1/2 inch piece at the bottom, and then this second score line here. So you're going to rule from that pencil mark there down to that second score line there that's going second across, and rule a pencil line down there. That's all on that one. And then this one here, which is the first one we did, it's going this way. So this time your 1/2 inch score line will be at the top, and you're going to go across, put it at 5.5 inches again on this left side, 1/2 inch score line at the top, and you're going to put a mark. This one you're going to score. You're going to score down to this second score line here. So the 1/2 inch score line's there. I think I'm in camera. 1/2 inch score line's there. The 2.5 inch one is there. So you can either go up or down to that second score line. Then we'll put the scorer away for a minute. I've got all these cut out for the next one. You're going to score where you finish that score line there. You're going to put your ruler and go down to this bottom point here on the cardstock, right down to the bottom corner. So then you're going to rule a line from there right the way down to that bottom corner, which I've already ruled on that one. You probably can't see it because it's on dark. So that's those two pieces. So I'll get these out. Now there is a couple of photos on the PDF that you can use to see where your score lines and which bits you're cutting out. So what we're doing, what I've already done on the two of them, and I'll get these two out, and I'll get the pieces that I've cut out already. We'll do one of these at a time. So it'll go together like this. This piece has come out of this one here. No, not that one there. Why do we work it out? Over there. This piece has come out of here. I'll put it back into the pieces, and then you've got one down there and this one down here. So what I did, I started at the bottom here, and I've cut up that you've got, if you fold and burnish all your score lines first on the first one, and I'll show you from this one where we cut. I'll do it on this one. I'll leave that there, but I'll show you on this one where to cut, so it's a little bit easier to follow. And then we'll end up, we won't cut it all the way through. So I've got that one. Fold and burnish your score lines first. That's all of those, and then we had one there, but that's going to get cut. And then the second one, if these end up the wrong way, you just backflip them and fold the other way, and before you glue them all together. So that's those three. So this one here, and I've already put the score line, the pencil line, I'm going to cut, and I might do this one on my trimmer because it's a long cut. Where you've drawn that pencil line from there right through to there, put that in the track there, and then the other end up here, and cut that piece off. Like so. That's that one there. I'll show you the cut up, the freehand ones in a minute. And then this one here, we're just going to go, what I'm going to do is cut this one first. This one here gets cut, make sure I'm doing the right one. That one there, which goes, just making sure I cut the right one. it on that side, which is that way. No, it's not. Excuse me while I work this one out. This is this one over here. This is this one here, but it's this side. Yes, it's that way. So we're going to cut up this score line here. This is the one where you've gone from the score line across right to the corner. So you're going to cut, this is the bottom of your box here. You're going to cut up that score line and that score line. Take this piece out completely and notch that. So that's that tiny tab bit in the corner. Then you can notch these as well. That's going to be where you, that's the bottom of your box there. I should be working from the other side because that's where my score lines are. So that's all that you need to do on the bottom. Excuse me. And then this top piece is, I'm just going to make sure I'm on the right piece. It's this one here, yes. I'm going to cut across here. This is on this same piece. And then I'm going to use my trimmer. Put that, you can fold that inwards. Put that point there on the, actually we'll go around this way. It's a little bit hard to see this. So you got that point there in the track and down to this bottom point here. We're going to cut. You can freehand cut this just with without the trimmer, but seeing it's a long piece, I'm going to do it with my trimmer. So that's like that. And then you'll see these pits come up. That'll go in there, and that's one side of your box. That's that one. I hope that made sense. And this one here, which we've already done. No, we haven't. This is this first piece. So this one will be the same. You're cutting up this one. We've already cut that long piece off there. Up here. I hope this makes sense to you. If it doesn't make sense, just message me or put a comment in the video and I will answer as best I can. But you'll see once you get to it, there's photos in there of how to cut. So that's that piece. Notch that little one and just notch these two tabs here. And this one. Doesn't need much of a notch, it just helps it sit. Just going to take that little bit of score line off that one. Once you get all these cuts done, it's pretty easy to put together. And that's the other side of your box, which will go together. And this one, don't worry that it's, oh, it turned out right anyway. So it'll go together like that. That's your stand-up piece. I'll go back to this original one that I'd already cut because I know it's correct, but that one's correct now too. I should have gone first piece, second piece, which is how I've described it on my video. My PDF, sorry. All those little bits can go. And we'll go back to this. Those scrap pieces you can use for decoration anyway. They're quite big scrap pieces. Now what you're going to do is put some tear and tape down this tab here and this little tab here. My tear and tape. Having to try and think for a sec. find the end of it. That's there. Just run a strip along that tab there. Some of this you can glue, but the joining of the box I prefer tear and tape. And one along here. And then this will go together like so. I don't know, we'll make sure we've got it the right way. It'll be this way. So that will go on the inside there, and this will be at the front here. So if you take this one off, didn't run over that with my bone folder, that's why it's not lifting. A few people have made these quite a while ago and I use them. So if you put this way, because that's the way it's going to sit, and then put that, so long as you line up your score lines down the bottom here, it will line up at the top like so. Make sure it stays there. I'll just trim it. Oh no, it's right, but I might have had to trim some off. And then this one here, if you take this one off, I usually run my bone folder over my tear and tape so it's nicely stuck. And then just fold this across like so and line up your score lines, which is that one there. Flip that backwards for now. And it'll line up perfectly on the edge of that. And then it'll go to the top. There, you're going to trim that tiny little bit there where it's been cut. That tiny piece can get snipped off. Like so, just to tidy it up. That's that. And then we're just going to put some tear and tape. I might use multi-purpose glue on the bottom because it's not going, it's just going to be sitting there the whole time. That'll flap over and that'll flap over. So we'll get the glue. Some glue on that smaller one. Actually, what I'll do, I'll put that one in first so that these two tabs are inside the other two longer ones. So we'll put some, whoops, getting glue everywhere here. I'll put some glue on one of the longer ones first. It's going to hold fairly securely. Pull this tab across like so. It will be notched, so you've got to make sure it's fairly straight there. This one will go down over here, keeping it nice and square. And then we can put some tape on that side. And that way those two smaller tabs are in between the two bigger ones. Like so. Pull it across. Get your bone folder and run it around inside there. That way you haven't got any ridge down inside that anything's going to catch on. So that's that one. That's that done. Now with your mats and DSP, these are exactly the same, the two mats. So you're going to put these two like so, match them up exactly like that. Now I'll have to read my instructions for the measurements here. We've done all that, and pencil mark 3 3/8 is cardstock. 3 3/8 up. So what you need to do first is put a little cross up in the 2 corners, and then up here you're going to measure up 3 3/8, which I think I've got the which is 9.5 centimeters. 3 3/8 is there. Just put a little pencil line on both sides of that, and then you're going to cut. Make sure I've got this the right way. You're going to cut from that cross corner over to here. Just make sure I've got that right. Yes, 3 3/8. So you can draw a pencil line there, from the cross there down to there, just faintly, and from this one up in this top corner down to there. That's where you're going to cut those 2 pieces off. We can put them, there's my cross there. You can go that way, put them back to back. I'm going to cut the 2 together, because that way they'll be exactly even. So cutting from that little cross up in the corner down to that 3 3/8 inch mark there. This gives you the angle for the front of the sides of the box. Cut those 2 off, and they should fit nicely on there. Which they do. You've got a tiny little border all the way around, so that's those 2. And this, the pattern paper is exactly the same. I'll just put that aside. There's no direction on this. But you're going to lay them butt up against each other again. It's just a different measurement on this one. That I'm going to put a cross up there and a cross up there, and it's lost in the little flowers. Excuse me. And this is 3 1/4 up, which is 8.3 centimeters. So 3 1/4 is there. I'm going to put a little mark there and there, which is going to be hard to see when I come to it, but we can do the 2 together if you put them back to back. And that's my pencil mark there. So you're going to cut from the cross up here in this corner, and then down to that 3 1/4 inch pencil mark, making sure they're both nicely together. I always find if you're cutting mirror image, it's better to cut them together. That way you don't, they're exactly the same. So, and they should fit nicely onto the mats. If you don't want the mats, if you just want DSP like I've done this one, just use your bigger measurement, this same measurement, and do your DSP. So that one's on there, and this one's on here. And you've got that tiny little border all the way around, 1/8 inch. So we'll stick those down. I'm going to stick them with liquid glue so that they, I've got a little bit of wiggle room to get them. When you've got a 1/8 inch border, it's very fine, so it's harder to get it lined up even. If you use tape, it's not that good. So we'll put the mats. I'll just have a mouthful of water. I can feel my voice going croaky again. I might just rub out that pencil mark first, the little cross. I'll do the other one as well. So if you start up in that top corner and just edge it right into the corner, and and that fits perfectly all the way around. You've just got that little smidge of a border. And then the other one, which will go this way, is still mirror imaged. What about the pencil marks? My workshop is well underway prepping. It's only, well, when you watch this video, I think it'll only be a week away. Got 12 ladies that we're hosting here at my home, which will be fun. They're doing 10 projects each, goes a whole weekend, 2 days. I've got a couple of ladies staying over, so live a fair way away. And then the rest just live fairly local, so that they'll just go backwards and forwards each day. Got lots of prizes. We've got a few little games to play, but mostly crafting all weekend. Now we can do these 2 bits as well, the front and the back. I gave you the measurements for these earlier on, but as I said, they'll all be in my tips and tutorials page in the file section there with all the measurements. These little boxes are so handy for stacking your DSP. I'm doing a live video in my group on Tuesday. Well, it will have already been done by the time you watch this, but if you want to join the group and go back and watch, it's a tour of my craft room. I did one over 12 months ago, but this one my granddaughter's going to record it for me, and I'm going to show you in my cupboards and how I store all my products, Stampin' Up products. Looking forward to that. It's reasonably tidy at the moment, so it's a good time to do it. So that's those. All we've got to do is put these on. You can decorate these as much as you like. You can put little things on the sides. I kept them fairly simple because they're stacking alongside of each other on my shelf, so you don't see a lot of the decoration on it anyway. That one will go on there. Another little 1/8 inch border all the way around. I'll make a few of these. I've got the 2 cut now, so I do need some more to put on my shelves. I used up all the other paper that I had, the one in my sample paper, so, and it's now retired, so I can't get any more of it. My craft room is predominantly blue colours in here, so it went nicely in my room. Just move that down a fraction, straighten it up a little bit. That's that one. And then the back one. Almost done. I'll just give you the measurements for the dividers. They're not difficult to make. It's just a straight panel of cardstock with a bit of a label on the top, a punch out piece. That one on there. Straighten it up. That's the beauty of liquid glue. You can move it around. It's not real straight. Move it over. And then the front piece, and we're done. my little tips and tutorials group. I've got nearly 7,000 members in there now. It just went a little bit berserk for a while. It's slowed down now. Still got a few a day wanting to join. Just remember to answer the 2 questions on there. I decline a few because they haven't, but it also comes back with a little notification when I decline that you haven't answered the questions. And if you go onto a different device, maybe if you're on your phone and you don't see the questions, go onto a laptop or an iPad or something and see if you can see the questions there. That is it. The tabs, wherever I put them, not sure where I put them. I'll find them. They're here somewhere. I'll show you the other thing that I designed as well. So this is there's a photo of this in the on the PDF. This is the first piece that we cut. You've got your score lines marked on there. That's the pencil line there. And I removed all of that section. And then I removed this little section here. We cut up these 2 pieces here, which is that tab that creates your first piece. And the second piece was similar. Your 2-inch score line there. And you've got one other score line here at 5.5 inches. I removed all of that section there and this tiny little section up here, and that comes out completely. And then you'll cut along these 2 score lines here, but just remember to notch any of your tabs. That's a tab there, so remember to notch that. But a photo of that is in the PDF, so it's not too difficult to work out. I don't know where I put, oh, it's inside this other box. So this here, it measures, and I'll just give you the measurements. I think I've got it on the PDF. It measured 4 inches by 6 3/4, and that way it sits up. You only need this if you're putting more than 1 DSP in the box, and then you label whichever one's in there. This here is just a little tag punch. I'm sure any tag punch you could use. I think it's this one here, actually, the pretty label punch. I think it's now retired, but there's quite a few punches out at the moment. It's just a bit of decoration on the top so you can see your labels. You don't even have to do that. You could just put your label at the top, and then that sits in there. And then the other little pieces would be 2 inches wide, and I'm not sure where I put that little piece. It's probably inside this other box. I'll tell you the measurement for that. This is if you want a label at the front of your box, if you're having it sitting facing outwards. Oh, it's 1 3/4, so it's sit in there better. 1 3/4 by 4 1/4, and I scored it at 1/2 inch along the front there, just to sit so it would hang over the front of the box. So that's how you do those 2 little bits. I won't do them for you, but they're easy enough to work out yourself. And that's my box for today. I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe to my channel, and I'll catch you all later. Have a lovely week. Bye for now.